Hello, hello. We are live and lit here for a reading of Days of Darkness by yours truly. Grateful for the opportunity to be here with y'all again. I was on vacation last week and had a beautiful time in Tulum, Mexico. I got lots of sun and delicious food and sand in my toes. It was wonderful. And I am glad to be back. I am glad to be in my flow again of service. I think often when we hear about folks going on vacation, they're like, "Oh, I wish I was still there, and I needed a break, and I wish it was longer." But honestly, the few days I was there, I was like, I feel complete. And I believe that's because I have built a life that I enjoy living, doing things that I enjoy doing. It's a little tough for me to not come on here and to not be in the places and spaces where I regularly show up and serve and share. Um, so, yeah, I'm really glad to be back, and I am really grateful that I had the opportunity to go out there. Um, I shared my book with a few folks out there, so we're international, still growing, expanding. We're international Canada, now we're international Mexico. We're gonna be international Ghana. And speaking of, that trip is taking place August 8th through the 19th. So, in a couple more weeks, we'll be getting on that. And I saw on Instagram that it's going to start cutting off live capability for people with less than 1,000 followers. And growing my followers on Instagram is not really a priority for me, even though I am sure it will happen organically as it's meant to. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do any live stuff in Ghana. I don't know when this change is going to be rolling out, but I did plan to do some things like that. So I'm not sure what that situation will look like. But if you are somebody who supported the Ghana experience, I am putting together some behind the scenes special spaces for us, for y'all, so that you can be a part of this journey that you have contributed to. I know many of you wanted to live vicariously through us, through myself and my friend Darren. And that is what you will get, because that is what I said I would do for you all as a promise for contributing. So, there are still ways that we will be connecting. These platforms are always changing and doing different stuff, so we allow that, and we release with grace, knowing that there are plenty of other ways to connect with folks. So, yeah. Let's see here. So today we're going to be reading two chapters. And if you are on YouTube, these will be split into two different videos. So if you're watching this for chapter 19 or for lesson 19, I should say, or lesson 20, then you can check that out on my page. I'll probably have it as the video linked on the end card here. So you can have that easily accessible as well. And oh, I came across this place, this space, this bookstore in Leimert Park called Lore Leimert Park. And they have a like a community space in there. And I reached out, I emailed the person. Well, I spoke to her in person and I told her I have a book and I do these readings, and is the space available for something like that? And she said, yeah, I'm gonna send you a form. I just filled the form out this morning. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But if you are in the Los Angeles area and you can make it to Leimert Park, Degden Avenue, Lots of beautiful spaces there, beautiful hub of creativity and especially like Black and Brown creativity. So if that's a space and a place that you are accessible to, I would definitely invite you to come out as things start to unfold with that. I'll get some more information as things go forward. So, yeah, just putting that out there, making some little moves and shaking a little tail feather. You feel me? So, yeah, I did get on here to make sure I have time for some other things I have to do today that I want to do today. So, I will be brief with this. So, yes, welcome, welcome. I want to send my love out to the family and friends, colleagues, and just everybody who was touched by the life of Malcolm Jamal Warner. I personally did not dive too deep into the Cosby Show, though I did enjoy it. I had no idea he was like a poet, and um, in any of his other projects, honestly, I was not very. He was not somebody that I followed very closely, but um, I do know many other creatives in my atmosphere who didn't know him and met him and enjoyed The Cosby Show and some of his other work. So definitely sending out love to all of those individuals who were touched by his life, and more directly his wife and his children and family. Um, just very sudden from what I heard. So just knowing that there is a grace for them to process that experience, and knowing that he is being received on the other side, and celebrated for the life that he lives. So yeah, we appreciate Malcolm and his ongoingness, and I'm grateful that he was here on the planet. So yeah, just want to acknowledge that before I dive into this reading today. I always like to start with the author's note and the dedication. So here we go. Author's note. This is a work of nonfiction. The events and experiences detailed herein have been described from the author's memory to the best of the author's ability. This publication is designed to provide personally experienced information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold and shared with the understanding that the author is not engaged in rendering psychological, financial, legal, or other professional services. If specific expert assistance or counseling is needed, the services of a competent professional in that field should be sought. I do support individuals with having a more clear understanding of their connection to Source, building a personal spiritual practice, expanding through their personal expression. I'm working on some, like I said, community spaces where we can gather and have conversations. However, I am not a psychologist. I am not going to diagnose you with anything. I am not a counselor. I am not here to support you with your relationship situations in a direct way. If something in this book, something that I read, something I talk about supports you, I definitely encourage you to unpack that in your own space and own way. And if you believe I am someone who can support you with having your understanding of what you're navigating, then definitely reach out. And if I feel that someone else could be of higher service to you, I will definitely make that referral. And also financially, I am not a financial coach. I'm not a financial advisor. However, I do work with Jessica McConico of Black Money Matters Act Like It, and her support has helped me incredibly, tremendously. So, again, if that is some support that you desire or require, then I can lead you in that direction. Onward. word. Parental advisory content warning. Topics of suicide and depression, some sexually suggestive situations, and strong language. And as I like to mention, I am stepping into some of the heavier chapters of this book. So if anything triggers you or activates you, by all means, pause, do some breathing, get some water, get some support in the way that you need to process what is coming up for you. This journey can be a little challenging, and I just want to remind you that this is a space of grace. So if that is something that you need in order to process what's being shared, highly encourage that. And I also appreciate your grace as I process in real time as I'm reading, because this is, my story. And there are some things and things are always being cleansed and cleared and unpacked. So I appreciate your grace as I also may pause to process. Yes. Dedication. This book is dedicated to all the younger versions of me. She is the giant upon whose shoulders I stand. Without her strength, perseverance, and resilience, I wouldn't be able to stand as tall as I do today. I love you, little me. Also, thank you to the virtual mentors who have poured light into my mind and heart. Your decision to be a light keeper in this world has saved millions of lives, including mine. Special shout out to Lisa Nichols and Motivating the Masses Campus. This book would literally not exist without them. And the Speaking Right to Make Millions, which is coming up next month, directly after my trip to Ghana, and I will be attending virtually as such, so that I can give myself the space and grace to rest and recalibrate before jumping into a very emotionally impactful experience. I'll be able to do that from the comfort of my abode. So yes, looking forward to that. And yeah, I appreciate her and so many other virtual mentors that have supported me on this journey. And you can read more about that on my website at vzspaces.com. That is V as in victory, zebra, Z as in zebra, and spaces, S in space. I talk about that in my about, just some of the people who have encouraged me along this journey. So yeah, definitely check that out. Also, remember, this is a coloring book as well. Here's a coloring page. And I drew a little bit of extra stuff in here. This part wasn't there. It's just when you get your book, it'll just be the shapes. But yeah, I colored this at the Rose Garden, looking at the California Science Center. Yeah, so we drew that in there. As you can see, my well-loved book. Okay, so yes, lesson 20. Fill yourself first. Lisa Nichols, my virtual mentor, is well known for saying, serve from your saucer. Do not serve others directly from your cup. It's necessary to remember that we can't be there for those we love. We can't perform at our highest level. We can't push as far as we want to go if we are empty. Stop stretching yourself so thin that you disappear. Stop always being there for others when you aren't showing up for yourself. Who is this for? Who wrote this? Oh gosh. Replenish your energy after you give it. Re-wax your candle before you burn out. Relax with people who let you rest and fill your cup without expecting anything in return. You are a necessary part of your life. You are a necessary part of your life. You need you. You are a necessary part of your life. You're the most necessary part of your life. You're the only necessary part of your life, actually. Because if you are not participating in your life and you are not present in your life, then your life is not happening. Then you don't exist. Like Reverend Michael likes to say, if you don't do you, you won't get done. If you're not doing you, you won't get done. It's not going to happen because you don't exist. You got to show up for yourself. Hey, Jorge. And this really folds nicely with the previous chapter I just read, just self-generated failure. Because if we are not asking ourselves those self-reflective, honest awareness questions, then we're going to continue showing up in the world in a way that does not fully serve us, in a way where we are not actually being a part of our life. And when we do that, we look around and we're like, man, I really had an idea about opening this business or writing this book or making this art or providing this service. But I don't think I have the capacity for that. Why? Because you are not allowing yourself to recognize that your life needs you. That dream needs you to participate, even in the little ways. I read in my journal this morning. What's a simple, enjoyable next step you can take? It was something that I wrote months ago. I was reflecting on it as I was writing in some new things about some of the experiences that I'm bringing to life. And I had to really sit with that and say, what is the next most simple, most enjoyable thing I can do to bring this forward? What is that 2 pounds that I can start with so that it becomes easy? And I'm like, maybe try out the 5, maybe try out the 10. I don't know. We'll increase incrementally and give ourselves grace. Hold space for yourself with grace and compassion. It's been one of the most powerful lessons in my progress. Grace and compassion, releasing that criticism and that judgment. And also recognizing that I'm a necessary part of my life. And if I'm not giving myself grace and compassion, then I will burn out. If I'm always serving everybody from my cup, from my fumes. Listen, how many of us have had that tendency to serve people on the wisps of what we have left remaining within us? Hello. We got to stop doing that, y'all. We got to realize that we need us. We need ourselves in our life. And that is totally okay and necessary, especially in those small ways. Oh, you're so welcome, Jorge. I am so grateful for you as well. I know I wasn't able to tap into the conversation yesterday. Jorge is doing a beautiful space of unpacking the ACEs questions. But just knowing that there is someone out there holding that space, guiding a conversation, opening people up to others who have been navigating those challenges, and really giving voice and opportunity to explore that is so powerful. And it makes me so grateful that that is out there. I can rest well knowing that I am not on this journey of supporting the community on my own. There are other beautiful gladiators out there who are doing this work, who are doing their self transformation. Because I know Jorge stays in his work, and just being able to have that capacity to hold space for others is really powerful. So I honor you, Jorge. Also, Leah Abraham, Lisa May LeBlanc, Raymel Bentley, Carrie Crosby, Drummond, and I always forget this guy's name. I believe it's Albert. And he has this really powerful, just very strong, masculine, in your face content about navigating a life post addiction, and just the transformation that is available and accessible. I feel like Jorge has a softer approach to it. And we need all sorts of approaches, because addiction is a real thing. It happens. And it isn't just with drugs, it's with alcohol, of course, and it's also with things like shopping, things like gossiping, things like eating, things like sex, right? There's all sorts of ways that we overcope, that we try to escape from life. And we're not realizing we're a necessary part of our life. And if we're sucked into an addiction, then we're not really living our life. If you're sucked in an addiction, we're not increasing our capacity. We're continuing to self-sabotage. And it's beautiful people like the people I have mentioned here, who have that realization for themselves and are willing to do the tough work of healing, transforming, making different choices, making new choices, choosing themselves over their addictions, choosing themselves over the community of people around them, and what they have been accustomed to, so that they can have a lighter, fuller life. And then they make the tough choice to go out into the world and share that with other people, and hold space for other people who are also walking that journey. And it's just beautiful stuff. So I honor you, Jorge, and I'm grateful for you, and again, all the beautiful people who are in this work. So yeah, that is the reading for today. Again, if you are on the YouTube side of things, I will be breaking up these chapter reads into 2 different videos, so that they are consecutive in the playlist and it doesn't look like something got skipped. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. I did have a beautiful week last week while I was away. And as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Instagram gave a notice that said people with fewer than 1,000 followers will not be able to go live at some point. So I'm not sure how that will impact this sharing, because I still got like 20 chapters left. So 20 weeks. I'm sure they'll do it within 20 weeks, but I'll figure out how to share that with you all here on Instagram. And also, if this is something that takes place before my Ghana excursion, then I will figure out the back end, behind the scenes things and other perks that may not include a live, or maybe I get 1,000 followers before then and we can just roll as normal. But that is not particularly a priority for me. Just is what it is. Also, Lore in Leimert Park, Lore Bookstore in Leimert Park. I am planning to do some in-person situations there with the book and reading and sharing the space with you all. So yeah, look out for that info if you're in the LA area. We can enjoy that time together in person. And yeah, just see what unfolds from that. It's not like a solidified thing, but it is in the atmosphere. So yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. Thank you for joining me today. Have a beautiful, wonderful, absolutely spectacular, magical experience wherever you are, whenever you happen to be watching this. You have the power to create it, and I'm rooting for you. And I will see you next week. Adios.